Have you ever wanted someone to stay, only to be the one who walked away? Maybe someone genuinely cared about you. They listened, they showed up, they loved you in ways you always wished someone would. But instead of feeling safe, you felt trapped. Instead of getting closer, you became distant. You stopped replying to messages. You overthought every conversation. You convinced yourself they deserved someone better. Or you found a reason to leave before they could leave you. And the strange part? You didn't want to lose them. So why do we push away the people we love the most? The answer might have nothing to do with love, and everything to do with what your heart learned long before you understood what love was. Imagine a child growing up in a home where affection was unpredictable. Some days they felt important, other days they felt invisible. Maybe praise only came after achievements. Maybe mistakes were met with criticism. Maybe emotions were ignored. Or maybe love was always mixed with fear, silence, or disappointment. That child slowly learned something dangerous. Love doesn't feel safe. Love feels uncertain. As they grew older, that lesson never disappeared. It simply became invisible. Now imagine that same child as an adult. Someone finally comes into their life who is patient, kind, honest, someone who genuinely wants to know them, instead of feeling comfort. Their mind becomes loud. What if they change? What if they leave? What if they see who I really am? What if I disappoint them? Those questions become stronger than the relationship itself. So they pull away. Not because they don't care, because caring feels terrifying. Here's something many people never realize. Your brain doesn't always choose happiness. It chooses familiarity. Even if familiarity hurts. If chaos was normal, peace can feel suspicious. If rejection was common, acceptance can feel uncomfortable. If love always disappeared, consistency can actually create anxiety. Your mind isn't asking, is this relationship healthy? It's asking, does this feel familiar? That single difference changes everything. Pause for a moment. Think about the people you've pushed away. Were they actually hurting you? Or were they simply getting close enough to see the parts of you that you've spent years hiding? Sometimes we mistake vulnerability for danger, but they're not the same thing. One of the biggest reasons people push others away is something psychologists often call the fear of abandonment. Ironically, people who fear abandonment sometimes leave first. It sounds backward, but it makes sense. If you're already convinced someone will eventually leave, leaving first feels like taking control. It hurts less when you choose the ending. At least, that's what your brain believes. It's a form of emotional self-protection. Unfortunately, it also guarantees loneliness. You become trapped in a cycle. You want connection. Connection creates fear. Fear creates distance. Distance creates loneliness. Loneliness makes you want connection again. Around and around it goes. Let's look at another example. Imagine someone sends you a simple message, "I miss you." Most people might smile. But someone carrying emotional wounds could think, what do they really want? Are they just being polite? What if I say the wrong thing? What if they stop liking me tomorrow? The message never changed. Only the story inside their mind did. Overthinking slowly becomes a wall, brick by brick, conversation by conversation, until one day, nobody can get in. Not because the door is locked, because fear is standing behind it. Another hidden reason people push love away is shame. Not guilt. Shame. Guilt says, I made a mistake. Shame says, I am the mistake. People carrying shame often believe that if someone truly knows them, they'll leave. So they wear masks, They become the funny one, the strong one, the independent one, the helper, the perfect one, anything except their real self, because deep down, they're terrified that the real version isn't enough. Pause for another moment. How many times have you hidden your feelings? Not because you didn't trust someone, but because you didn't trust yourself to be accepted? That question alone changes how many people see their relationships forever. Here's another pattern. Some people confuse emotional intensity with love. If a relationship feels calm, they think something is missing. If there's no constant drama, they feel bored because their nervous system became addicted to emotional highs and lows. Healthy love feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar can feel empty. That's why some people leave peaceful relationships, only to return to unhealthy ones. Not because they're weak, because their brain mistakes chaos for connection. Now here's the realization that changes everything. The voice telling you they're going to leave. They'll stop loving you. Don't get too close. Isn't always telling the truth. Sometimes, it's simply repeating an old story. A story written by experiences you never chose. A story that protected you once, but now keeps you from the very thing you need. Healing doesn't begin when you find the perfect person. Healing begins when you notice the story you've been believing, because once you notice it, you finally have a choice. The next time someone cares about you, you don't have to run. The next time someone says, "I'm here for you," you don't have to search for hidden motives. The next time fear tells you to disappear, you can pause, take one deep breath, and ask yourself, am I protecting myself from this person or from my past? That question can change the direction of your entire life. Real love isn't supposed to feel like a battle. It isn't about proving your worth every day. It isn't about earning the right to be accepted. Healthy love is surprisingly quiet. It feels safe, consistent, patient, sometimes almost unfamiliar. And maybe that's exactly why it feels uncomfortable at first. If you've spent years pushing people away, it doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're impossible to love. It may simply mean your heart learned survival before it learned safety. The beautiful thing about the human mind is this: what was learned can be unlearned. What was broken can slowly heal. And what once felt impossible can eventually feel like home. Maybe the people who truly love you were never the problem. Maybe the real battle has always been between your past and the future you're still learning to trust.